Today, we're diving into a book you've probably seen everywhere, Atomic Habits by James Clear. It came out way back in 2018, but it's still a massive bestseller. And that raises a really interesting question. In a world full of self-help books that come and go, why is this one still on top? What's its secret?
First, let's just wrap our heads around the numbers, because they're insane. We're talking over 25 million copies sold around the world. I mean, just think about that for a second. That is a truly global phenomenon.
And this isn't some flash in the pan. The book has spent more than 260 consecutive weeks on the New York Times bestseller list. That's 5 years straight. That kind of staying power is almost unheard of. It's in a league of its own.
And its message has clearly struck a chord with, well, pretty much everyone. It's been translated into over 60 different languages. So this isn't just an American thing, it's a human thing.
So yeah, here's the book itself. But all these massive numbers, they don't just scream success. They actually bring up a really big question.
Right? In the world where things trend on TikTok for a week and then disappear forever, why does this book stick around? Let's unpack the simple, yet really profound ideas that give Atomic Habits its incredible staying power.
Okay, so to really get why Atomic Habits works so well, we first have to talk about something we all know way too well. Why it's so darn hard to change our own behavior.
You know the drill, right? It's January 1st, you're going to go to the gym every single day, you're going to learn a new language, the energy is high. But then a few weeks, maybe even a few days later, that motivation just fizzles out. And you're left feeling frustrated and right back where you started.
And what's our first instinct? We blame ourselves, don't we? I just don't have enough willpower. But here's the thing. What if the problem isn't actually us? The book offers a totally different diagnosis for this struggle we all face.
And that's the absolute game changer right there. The book basically says, hey, stop beating yourself up. Failing to build a good habit isn't a moral failing. It's a design flaw. The problem isn't your motivation. The problem is your method.
Okay, so this leads us to the big idea at the very heart of the book. And understanding this shift in focus is what unlocks everything else.
I mean, that quote, it just hits, doesn't it? Goals are great. They give us direction. But what actually determines if we get there are the little things we do every single day. Our outcomes are just a delayed reflection of our daily habits.
And this slide, I think, breaks it down perfectly. The goal is the result you want. Writing a book, running a marathon. The system is the process that gets you there. Writing 1 page a day, putting on your running shoes and getting out the door even for just 10 minutes.
And think about this. Winners and losers in pretty much any field often have the exact same goal. Every team in the league wants to win the championship. The goal itself isn't what makes the difference. It's the daily system of practice, coaching, and improvement that separates them.
Okay, so if having the right system is the answer, how in the world do you build one that you'll actually stick with? Well, the solution, just like the title says, is to think small, ridiculously small. And this is where the name of the book comes from, an atomic habit. It's a tiny fundamental unit of a much larger system. By itself, it seems like nothing, totally insignificant. But when you combine them, that's when you get something powerful.
And this is the magic right here. It's not about making some huge heroic effort that just burns you out in a week. It's about making a tiny 1% improvement every single day. It doesn't feel like much at first, but that little bit of progress starts to compound on itself, like interest in a bank account. Over a year, getting just 1% better each day makes you nearly 38 times better. That is the power of consistency.
So the actual approach is beautifully simple. First, you start with something so easy you can't say no. Read 1 page, do 1 push-up, meditate for 1 minute. Second, you forget about the big, flashy result and just focus on the act of showing up. And third, you trust the process and let those tiny wins stack up over time.
All right, so let's bring this all back to our original question. How does all this add up to a book that has this much universal, lasting appeal?
And I think this is the real secret sauce. It's because these ideas aren't just for one type of person or one part of your life. It doesn't matter if you're trying to grow your business, get healthier, manage your money better, or just be more productive. The framework of building better systems works everywhere. It's a universal toolkit for improvement.
So the reason this book has endured isn't some secret marketing trick. It's because it gives people a way out of that frustrating cycle of setting big goals and then feeling like a failure. It offers a permanent, practical system for just getting a little bit better day after day.
And that's really the final, powerful idea the book leaves you with. It's not about some massive, life-altering change you need to make tomorrow. It's about the tiny, simple, atomic habit you can start today. So what's yours going to be?